What's up, everybody? This is Toy Addict 26 here, back again with a new review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Captain Hammerhand from the Thundercats Ultimates Wave 5 collection by Super 7 Toys. The back of the package features this awesome illustration of Captain Hammerhand with his metallic fist ready to pound, and includes the awesome character bio underneath, which we've come to expect from all the releases so far. Here's a quick look at Hammerhand out of the box. Like all other figures, he consists of two clamshells. The upper clamshell contains the majority of the figure and accessories, while the back clamshell features 3 extra additional interchangeable hands. All right, so here he is out of the package, and man, this thing looks freaking bonkers. It is so cool. I mean, yes, this figure existed in the 80s. It was done by LJN, but it was not like this. He was hunched over, of course, did not have this kind of articulation. He had, play features. I think it had like a handle, a trigger that would make his hand open and close. But wow, Super 7 and the 4 Horsemen and everybody involved with this, they just knocked this out of the park. Another like solid figure for this wave. The paint apps are so well done, so clean, and he just looks awesome in hand and out of package. They fixed the shorts. I know in the original solicitations, the crotch piece here was going to be black, so they fixed it to match the pants, just like Captain Hammerhand looks in the cartoon. And yeah, this thing is bonkers. So we'll start off looking at the accessories really quick. He has the alternate hand, which is what I would call the ARG head. He's got that screaming side, screaming mouth. Get better lighting here. Really awesome, that head portrait. The back, the ponytail, the hair is a very soft and malleable rubber, I might add, which is really cool because it doesn't hinder range of motion when you're moving the head around. He brings this really cool rifle. It doesn't look cheap in any way. It's like a nice matte color, a different blend of browns and like tan and a little bit of gray there. Very nicely detailed weapon, nice and sturdy. He brings these 2 little sacks, 2 little pouches, sculpted little pouches. Doesn't really have a place to stow them away, so I guess just to put them in his hands or whatever. He has a total of 4 interchangeable human hands. So he's got the one that he comes packed with, which is a gripping hand. He has this kind of grasping, creepy, clawing-like reaching out hand. He has a crooked, creepy pointing finger hand, and the closed fist for his human hand. The alternate hand I already showed you guys. He has another alternate hand for the mechanical side. This alternate hand has a closed fist that's permanently posed. So there's no articulation except for the hinge joint here that's attached to the fist. Here's the really awesome part that was like a nice surprise. And now we're going into the articulation. The mechanical hand that Hammerhand comes with has articulated individual fingers. There's a hinge which allows you to control each individual mechanical finger. You can close them in this much, and you can pull them out this much. So you can do all sorts of interesting expressions with the fingers. And then the mechanical thumb also has a hinge which allows you to close it in and bring it out that much. Being a mechanical arm You would think that there's a lot of limitations in articulation, but I was very surprised with the engineering on this guy. So in the shoulder area, we have the typical ball hinge, ball swivel joint that we're used to on the regular bodies. So you can bring up the arm this much, and you can bring in the arm this much out in front of him. Then, surprisingly, there is a bicep cut. If you hold the shoulder piece, you can swivel the bicep left and right. Then there is a hinge cut attaching to the mechanical portion of the arm. And the hinge is also on a swivel as well. In the tongue twister here. So swivel hinge at the elbow, bicep cut, and then we've got the ball hinge joint at the shoulder. But that's not all. There is also a ball socket joint that conjoins the mechanical forearm with the wrist. So you get a lot of cool angular movements from that joint as well. So you can almost say that even though the arm is mechanical, you have almost pretty much the same exact type of range of motion than you have on a typical arm. So going to the regular arm, we've got the same swivel hinge joint. Then we've got a bicep cut. We have the swivel and the hinge joint at the elbow. And then we also have the swivel and the hinge at the wrist. So pretty much all together, we have collectively the same type of articulation on both sides, which is awesome. The head moves very fluidly. You can do angular poses with the head. He looks down this much, not much because of his beard, and looks up that much. Not much either because of the ponytail. But still, the range of motion is fluid. I don't get any, head popping back up, springing back up like I had with Bengali or whatever. So the head is really good. Again, if he had a different type of neck peg, I'm sure we could get a little bit more range of motion, like have him look really forward, almost like he's hunched over. You could do this kind of thing, which is good because even with a beard, he's able to look to the side that much. So the head articulation is pretty good, all considering, the beard and the long ponytail in the back. This part here is where I'm a little bit disappointed. And the main reason being is because of the sculpt, that they wanted to keep the integrity of the sculptor. They didn't have as much room to play. There is no ab crunch joint. What they gave us instead is this kind of makeshift kind of rocker joint up here in the cavity where the chest begins. But as you can see, there's barely any range of motion there. Like, he can literally go forward this much. That's a hair. And that much. So I don't really call that an ab crunch. I wish, particularly with this character, I wish you could hunch him over more, because this kind of character just lends himself to that kind of posing. I would like to have him hunched over a little more. It looks more creepy that way. But, unfortunately, we don't have that range of articulation on this figure. Now, of course, we do have underneath, hidden, you can't see it, but hidden behind the belt here, we have the swivel cut at the waist. And then going into the crotch area, same thing we've always had so far with Thundercats. We've got the ball hinge joints. And this time around, though, we don't seem to have a mid-thigh cut on this guy. Again, that's something that I'm campaigning for. I really hope that Super 7 adds that to their Ultimates figures, because it just gives it a lot more range of motion. And at the end of the day, action figure, keyword action, we want to be able to pose these things as much as we can. It's interesting here because if you look at the crotch area, this piece here stands out more. It's like a shinier yellow versus this that's more matte. It's almost like this was injected plastic in that color versus this, which was probably black, and then Super 7 gave the instruction to paint it over in yellow. So depending on the lighting, it pops up a little more, but you could definitely tell the difference. And of course, it's because this is a soft rubber and this is a hard plastic. So finalizing here, talking too much, I think, but I'm really excited with this figure, if you can't tell. On the knee joint, we've got the same new kind of weird knee joint that's it's a hinge and a swivel. As you can see, it doesn't work with all characters. So with Captain Hammerhand here, you really cannot swivel around the lower portion of the leg with the beefier mechanical portion of the leg. With the other one, it does have a little more give, but not too much. You have to bend the knee this much. And again, you don't get a full bend of the knee. You can only bend it that much. So I'm hoping, we get to see a different type of reimagining for the knee joints in the future for this line and for all Ultimates in general. Now going down to the lower portion of the leg with the left leg, with this bulky foot here, we have a big ball hinge joint that you can see there. And we have that much range. And then because of this piece that goes around, we don't have too much of an angular movement for the rocker. But the rocker's still present. It's just that this piece here hinders that range of motion. So when you want to do things that we could do with other figures, like having the foot flush on the ground, you have to really kind of straighten the leg more. You won't be able to have these legs spread out and have the foot flush on the ground. And then finally with the right leg, doesn't seem like, there's no boot cut here. We still have the hinge joint. This one has a lot more range, you can see right away. And the rocker works amazing. So all in all, just a very heavily articulated figure in the sense of, what we have to come to expect with Ultimates figures. This figure looks amazing in hand. The paint apps are so clean. I did not find any type of imperfections or misapplications of paint, particularly here where it really counts in the skull and the little bone details on the belts. There is nothing imperfect or blotched or dirty looking, which is an awesome indication, again, that these figures, the quality and the production is just going up and up in a positive manner. So that's pretty much it. This is Captain Hammerhand from Thundercats Ultimates Wave 5. The only one last thing that I would mention I would have liked to have seen would have been a third alternate portrait with the Hammerhand head that was shown in the control art that was done by Nate Barch. That was a Hammerhand head prior to him becoming a berserker, or prior him to becoming a cyborg. It was when he was more human. I think that would have been an awesome alternate head, but it lends itself to an alternate version of Hammerhand that we can get in the future, a pre-berserker Hammerhand, if you will, that could bring all sorts of different accessories and just a completely different opportunity for a new figure. So that's probably why Super 7 decided to opt out on that alternate head. And quite frankly, like I said, I think this figure turned out amazing. I think it's really going to, polish out your toy shelf It's the first of Berserkers. I'm pretty sure that the first of the Lunatics is not too far away. Maybe in Wave 7 we'll get our first Lunatic, but still, it's awesome now that we've completed our mutants that we can finally start completing other factions of villains from this awesome cartoon series. Again, thank you for watching this review. Keep it locked on Toy Addict 26 for all the latest toy news and reviews. And of course, always Thundercats Classic for the latest Thundercats and Super 7 Ultimates news. I'll see you in the toy house, people.